Tabatha Bull is on the Prime Minister's Council on Canada-U.S. Trade Relations and was in the meeting that Marina was talking about. She is the President and CEO of the Canadian Council for Indigenous Business and joins me here in the studio. Appreciate you coming in to talk to us.
Thanks for having me.
So you were in that meeting with the Prime Minister here in Toronto. What was the feeling in the room?
I think definitely there's a sense of urgency, a sense of this is an important conversation, and to think about, I'm very honored to be asked to be in that room, but to think about the people that are there providing support and advice to Canada in these conversations. It's really, a sense of unity and how are we all going to work together to do the best for Canadians and for Canadian business.
What was, you don't have to say exactly what was said, but, what was sort of said? Did you get the feeling that everyone is kind of ready for this fight?
I think I think everybody is really united in how do we ensure that Canadians, Canadian business, Canadian economy, workers, communities and families how can we provide the best solution for everyone in Canada? Despite being in this position of a bit of uncertainty. We hopefully will know more on Monday. I think it's really important that we're all coming together and preparing in advance of what might come and looking at potential solutions.
And tell me about the group of people that you represent and the concerns that you've heard.
So I lead a not-for-profit called Canadian Council for Indigenous Business. We've been around for 40 years, but we have members that are both Indigenous and non-Indigenous business, but all people have committed to work together. We're close to 3,000 members now, so incredibly important for us to be there and have a voice, both for Indigenous businesses who we know 19% of the revenue of Indigenous business that export goes to the U.S. And some of those businesses, McCraw Seafood as an example, whose exports snow crab, 90% of their revenue goes to the U.S. So this is something that incredibly will have an impact on an Indigenous business, but not just that, in a community. And those business revenues go to support community and community growth. But then also as we think about organizations and corporations in Canada who have really stepped up to support Indigenous business, support Indigenous employees. Any tariff that supports and hurts the economy is going to hurt those families as well. So, I feel really grateful and a big weight of responsibility to have a voice there to really bring those conversations and on the ground things that we're hearing to the table.
Did you get the feeling the Prime Minister was listening? What did you say about what to do if it is 25% tariffs across the board on Monday?
Yeah, I think I definitely felt that he was listening. It was really a conversation about, what are you thinking and what are you hearing from the people that you work with? I think we need to think, long term also about whatever we're doing as a country and how that's going to impact workers in our country and how is that going to impact Indigenous business? How can we think about alternative opportunities for trade with other partners that we have, particularly on some businesses that are really focused on the U.S. and how do we help support them potentially find alternate routes of trade? And also, I think we all know that the incoming president looks for weaknesses. So how do we really stand up as a united front together and show that we're all working together to fight against whatever is coming?
And so how would you say the state of that is right now? Do you feel as though it's united? We've talked about over the last couple of days, the Premier of Alberta, Danielle Smith, not signing that communique with all of the other premiers and the Prime Minister. Prime Minister saying everything is on the table. She's saying oil and gas should not be on the table. What's your sense of the unity or lack of unity?
Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate that we're in that position. Maybe I'm a bit optimistic, but I feel like there's more that we can do to really, ensure that Canadians understand that the work that we're all doing together is to support all of Canada and all of the workers and the people that are here, and the people, who have been here since the very beginning. And I think for me to have a voice at that table as an Indigenous person representing Indigenous business is a conversation that maybe we haven't had to date and hasn't been part of the conversation enough to date. And, when we think about oil and gas and the oil and gas sector, there are so many Indigenous businesses and employees that support that sector. But any work and development and resource extraction that happens in this country needs to have approval from Indigenous people. So we need to ensure that we're really united in that front, and we need to be bringing those voices to those conversations as well.
Tabatha, appreciate you coming in and talking to us about this. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Tabatha Bull is part of the Prime Minister's Council on Canada-U.S. Trade Relations. She joined me here in studio.